Hi, fourth graders. It's Miss Mold. We are starting our lesson 7-12, which is about decimal number stories. So you're going to practice converting between fractions and decimals to help solve some number stories. So first, as usual, we're going to warm up with our mental math and fluency. Okay, so the first fraction, I'm going to give you a fraction, and you're going to write the equivalent decimal that would go with that fraction. So hopefully you already have that part done, and I'm just going to run through the answers and a little bit of how you might have solved. So the first set of fractions is going to start off easy. 36 hundredths. So this is just a review. We've done this before. We've used flats, which has 100 little cubes in it, and we use fractions to decimals in the hundreds and tenths place. So we know that this fraction is written as 0 because there's no whole number. 0.36 hundredths, and that's because this 6 is in the hundredths place. Remember, it goes tenths and hundredths. There is no whole number here because it is a fraction. It is not a mixed number. Okay, the next one, 87 hundredths would be written as 0. And 87 hundredths, or 0.87. Next one is 19 hundredths, which would be written as 0.19. Okay, so that's the first set. Now we're on to the next set, which is going to get a little bit more challenging. So the first one is 3/10. Now, you're not going to have a decimal in the hundredths place because the denominator is only 10. So you would write this as 0.3, 3/10. Okay, 1/2. So to do this, we have to find an equivalent fraction that's either in the tenths or hundredths place. So if I wanted to make this in the tenths place, what do I have to multiply by 2 to get 10? And I know that I have to multiply by 5. Because 2 times 5 is 10. Whatever you do to the denominator, you then have to do to the numerator. So 1 times 5 is 5. So 1/2 is the same as 5/10, which you now can easily write as a decimal as 5/10. Okay, the next one is 4/5. So the denominator is not in tenths or hundredths, so we need to change it. So I'm going to make this 5/5 into tenths. What can I multiply by 5 to get 10? I can multiply by 2. So you have to do the same thing to the numerator. And 4 times 2 is 8. And now you have 8/10, which you could write as 0.8 or 8/10. Okay. Our last set, which is normally the most challenging, 7/20. So you have to think that 20 is half of 10, right? So you want to figure out what is half of 7. And I know that half of 7 is 3.5. So the answer is 0.35 hundredths. Okay, if you had 3/25, I'm going to try to change this into hundredths. And actually, you can solve this making an equivalent fraction. So if you did 7/20 and you changed it to 2 hundredths, what times 20 would give you 100? Well, 20 times 5 would give you 100. And 7 times 5 is 35, and you get 0.35 hundredths. Okay, what times 25 would give you 100? Well, I know there's 4 quarters and a dollar, so 25 times 4 is 100, and 3 times 4 is 12. So now I have 12 hundredths, so my answer is 0.12. Last one, 14 halves. Well, I already know that this is going to be a whole number with no decimal because 14 is a multiple of 2. because 7 times 2 is 14. So 7 is my answer. Okay, so right now make sure you have your math message done before you watch the next video.